Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the OGRL Coffee Cup Round 6 from Circuit Zolder. I'm JP. I'm going to be joined in the booth from Tom Cairns for this one, who's going to take us for a ride around Zolder. Not one of my favourite circuits, not going to lie, but 2.492 miles, 4.010 kilometres in length. It's going to bring up a little bit of a challenge for these guys this evening, or this afternoon, I should say. Let's have a look in the stores on the doors after round 5. In the pros at this moment in time, it's Brian Faluna and David Van Roy tied up front, with Tim Probert and Bradley Lovins sitting in second and third and fourth respectively, with Hayden Young sitting in fifth. And we've got Ryan Mariancini, Sierra Nichols, Dion Hoveyton, all in there who haven't scored some points on the board. Drivers who haven't been here very often. In the Pro-Ams, it's Dustin Dobbs-Face leading the way with a 7-point gap over Quinton Price, with Bradley Tidwell, Cody Bont and Tom Bryson behind that. Then we've got Claudio, Hilaric Hansen, Pernell Hanout and William Bailey, and then Dunkowski, Atkins, Forat, Modric and a few others who haven't been here for many of the races. In the AMs, it is currently Heath Ollinger leading the way with Gardner 5 points behind him. Then JT Sawyer, then Vesta, Reese, Marshall, Basil, Castelline and Hoskins. And you've got a few others behind that as well who've not been here for the many of these races. It's going to be going just into qualifying at this moment in time as well. The car's out on track at the moment, so we'll see some times coming in very, very shortly. But let's bring Tom into the booth. Tom, welcome in. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you, James. Hello to everyone. And good afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you are watching from around the world. How about some OGRL racing around this circuit of Zolder in Belgium? Last hosted the Belgian Grand Prix 1984. Michele Alboreto winning that one that day. But of course, it's about this particular series, the Coffee Cup, involving 3 classes, the Pros, the Pro-Ams and the AMs. We are just into the early developments of qualifying. And who is going to take pole? Because there is a bonus championship point up for the grabs for the driver from each class that gets pole position here. So it is worth going for.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to find out and see how they get on as well. Tarina's in YouTube chat. Welcome in. Good morning and good luck. Let's go Quinton Price. She says there as well, some of the times coming in thick and fast. Tim Probert taking pole position this early on. And Hayden Young, David Van Roy, Dustin Vosface, Adam Hansen also there in the, I was going to say lone BMW, but Sean Riley's back in his BMW, so we'll see how Sean can get on here as well. A lot of fast guys at the moment. 10 minutes coming, near enough 10 minutes left of qualifying. A few people with times on, no times on the board. A couple of people still to go out. Ryan Marion, Brian Faluna and Bradley Lovins is not out and setting a time as of yet. What do we think of Zolder? I'm not a fan of this racetrack, I've got to be honest, but you know, some people seem to like it.
Some do. I mean, if you were asking me,
Okay, apologies about that. I have no idea what went on. The PC just decided that it didn't like it, and it was just going to crash on me. So we are back and running. And up there, Yambag stream is down. We're back. Yes, we are back. Apologies again. As I said, the PC just randomly crashed and shut down, which is never good. Right, Tom, what was you saying anyway? Circuit Zolder.
Yeah, circuit Zolder. Yeah, it feels like the backyard's nearby to a go-karting circuit. If you ask me, you know, I've seen better circuits than this one, but it is what it is. You know, Zolder's been around for a long time. It's been around for decades. I mean, how far are we going back? 1963, when this started hosted racing. So it's been around for over 60 years, this one. And it has had hosted Formula One racing as well. It used to alternate with Spa, as hosted the Belgian Grand Prix. But in the matters of today, we're into the last 4 minutes of this session. And so far, it feels like Brian Faluna is doing well enough to take pole position. They do get 3 laps each, these drivers, no matter which class they are in. So they've only got that many chances to make it count if they're to get into a solid grid position for this 55-minute encounter.
Yeah, we are. We're just going to try and sort out some sound issues, which is also just taking shape, but I've just noticed that there's no car sounds coming through. So just bear with us for 2 seconds on this one as we try and sort this out. I may have to bring up the UI. No, I think we're running now as well. So we've got cow sides as well. BWE is just qualifying. Thank you so much for understanding as well. Completely unexpected. Not quite sure why it decided to terminate itself on me, but there we go. Yeah, I just said I don't like this circuit. I think it's one I think the problem for me is I can't really find a car that suits this track. That's the thing. I can't really find a car that would be ideal on this circuit. I'm not quite sure if you've got any ideas where this would be, but I don't know what car would suit this, to be honest.
I can't think of one either, because when you look at the flow of the circuit, there's a lot of medium speed corners, even like through the chicanes, apart from the Villeneuve chicane where it's which is rather slow. You're having to dice through it. It just doesn't feel appealing at all. Over the course of a flying lap, it may feel great, but when it comes to racing, it's not the same, is it?
No, it's just not. I don't get it, to be blatantly honest with you. If anybody in YouTube chat can find a car that we think will work around this circuit, let us know. Apart from maybe F4s or something a little bit small, F3, maybe Super Formula Lights even, but that's about it. Jay, the driver, Julian Reese is in the out class now. Oh, okay, thank you. That's all done and changed. Thank you very much for that one as well. Never drove this track, sad I'm missing it. I don't really know if you are missing out on anything, BWA. I've got to be honest. Pro 2s, something small. Something small's got to... yeah, I don't know. Tom's right. It is a glorified go-karting circuit, and I can't think of something that would work around here, to be honest. I've watched multi-class around here, and it wasn't great. There was GT3s, TCRs, and MX5s, I think it was, have driven around here as well. So, I don't know, maybe MX5s might work, as Bradley Evans is struggling to find his way into pit lane, which is never good there as well. He's now giving himself a slowdown right at the end as well. New yellow flags there as well. If the drivers get a black flag and a penalty, it will just be a black flag. Yellow flag will mean a slowdown. And then obviously the black with the orange circle in the middle will be the fact that they've got a meatball. So keep an eye out for these new flags that have come into the timing software as well. But how do we think this is going to go? We've got 55 minutes of racing action here as well. And how are the drivers going to cope with driving around Zolder for that long?
Well, it's about keeping it on circuit, really. You know, we have seen a lot of drivers making mistakes around this this racetrack. And it's a good shout you've mentioned Mazda MX-5s, actually, but considering they are significantly slower than these GT3s, I have to say that is probably one of the very few cars that will make much better racing around here than these GT3s. So yeah. whoever came up with that in the YouTube chat, that's a very, very good shout.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think MX-5s might be a good shout, to be honest, to take them around here. Everybody's done their qualifying laps. That's what I mean. We've got 15 minutes of qualifying and everybody's done it before the end. Just coming to the end, we're going to go into the warm-up. And then we will bring you up the grid. Venroy is due for a W. I agree. David Venroy's been there or thereabouts. Not quite managed to get the car over the line. So I think you are right. He could be due a win very, very shortly. But you know, we're just going to have to keep an eye out and see how he gets on. Here again, it may suit David Van Rooij's car. I'm not quite sure if it will, to be honest. I don't really know which car out of all of these GT3s is going to be the best. Maybe the Porsche might be the best at the hands of Faluna, but I've never really seen much that would be able to go round Zolder fairly accomplished. I think that's the thing for me. I think that Circuit Zolder is one of them tracks that, yeah, I don't know. Not on my high priority of I must go drive it. Let's put it that way.
You can see his drivers on their warm-up laps at the moment. They feel like they just want to get a little bit more mileage on there and just maybe practice maybe on race fuel loads before they get on the way, just so that they get a feel of it compared to what they've been used to during the course of practice and quali. There's Brian Faluna, man who ended that qualifying session fastest of them all. Very nice lap indeed from the American. He was going for another victory here, and it'll help him his cause in terms of the championship in the long run. There are a couple of drop weeks that do apply to the scores, so even if some of these drivers have an absolute mare of it here, they could use this round as one of their drop scores.
Yeah, absolutely. So just waiting for some of the liveries to load in correctly on the timing software as well, due to that crash that we just had a minute ago. It's all gone a little bit haywire, but we will be able to get it up and running and sort it out. Hopefully it just be through this warm-up. It will be able to bring you the race action once it swaps over here as well. But I think overall some of these guys are going to find this circuit rather challenging. Some of them might be successful and be able to take the car over the line for the win, to be honest with you. The likes of Brian Faluna here in the Porsche. Maybe the Porsche, it might suit the Porsche better than some of the others.
We'll see soon enough. I mean, I don't know which cars are best in regards to straight line speed, whether there's ones that have got better downforce for this particular kind of racetrack. We'll have to see soon enough, and then that way we'll have an idea as to which is the quickest car around here. David Van Rooij, who's running in what is essentially a Honda that is named differently in America. I think it's called Acura, or whatever it's called in
Acura.
Acura, yeah, thank you very much. But you know, we'll see what David Van Rooij will do. I mean, we'll see a comparison actually between the Porsche and the Acura, and we'll see how that plays out here in Zolder into the last couple of minutes as we see Brian Faluna come back into the pit lane after doing a recon lap. So he's got a feel of this circuit. The air temperature 21 degrees over there, track temperature 28, cloudy conditions, no rain expected for this one. Now there are at least a couple of rounds where rain could be forecast, but this is not one of them.
No, definitely isn't here. It's not one that they're going to basically worry about too much about it, to be honest. I think these guys are going to just cope and deal with it. I think it's going to be dry all the way round. I'd be very surprised if they even remotely touch on rain, and I don't think it's going to be honest. I think it's going to be clear all the way around this circuit as well, so fair play to them. Not quite sure what Bradley Lovins is up to there. He's kind of sat in a very awkward position. It's like he's put himself in a penalty box or something. Currently, Mr. Lovins. I'm not sure what are you doing there, to be honest with you, dear sir, but... Oh, he's getting fuel. Lovely. Well, there we go. Bradley Lovins getting fuel, going into pit lane. Fair play. Looks like it's going to be a tough track to pass. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried that we might get very liney racing. I'm hoping we don't. I've got to be honest. I'm hoping that we get a little bit more action, but it depends on how these guys are going to handle it and whether or not they're going to be able to make this work. But we'll find out and see how they get on with the last 25 minutes of qualifying. Do we think we're going to get much overtaking?
I think it depends on how the first lap plays out. I mean, there may be a few drivers that fall down to the back and out of position and then come back through the field and make their way through. For instance, if a pro driver makes a mare of it on the first lap and falls to the back, then I don't think the AM drivers are going to make it too difficult for that pro driver to come back through. We'll see soon enough.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We're going to find out very, very shortly as these guys are going to be jumping onto the grid. and we'll bring you up that grid very, very shortly. I'll be able to show you who is where once we change over on that one. Don't forget, guys, if you are here for the first time, like, subscribe, turn on the bells. But it is Brian Faluna who's going to lead the way on pole position with Ryan Merriam in second. Porsche's up front. David Van Rooij in the Acura with Tim Probert next in fourth. Bradley Lovins fifth, then Hayden Young. Then you got Dustin Dustface and Javier Sierra, Jeremy Chaney and Alexander Claudio, Adam Hansen and Bradley Tidwell leading the top 12. Further on from that one, Tom Bryce in 13th, then Sean Riley in 14th. Brian Dudkowski in 15th, then Cody Bont and Heath Ollinger leading the way in the Amsden World this season. Will Bailey, JT and Quinton Price who top 20, then Zifflo in 21st, then Hoskins, Gardner and Basil round out the top 24. Then Michael Vesta, Julian Rees, Scotty Carson, Nick Marshall and Marcinek at the back end of this one. We're going to have a full pace lap here, Tom, so we've got a couple of minutes to have a bit of a chinwag about this one. Pick a winner for me, Tom. Anyone you think is going to take the victory?
I think David Van Rooij will pull an absolute blinder in the strategy and come out on top here.
Ooh, okay. Well, we'll find out whether or not it will be David Van Rooij. As the hopefully the overlay has brought itself back to life again. Just trying to make sure that everything is fine, but it's not. So bear with 2 seconds while I deal with this situation. Having like a good old PC crash to send things haywire, which is nice. And then we will be up and running for the race. Good job, we've got a full pace lap here as well, as these guys are going to continue to fight on this circuit. I'm going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to make the overtake. Is Faluna in the Porsche? Is Merriam? I think this track could be Porsche suited, to be honest with you. I think they're going to be well there up that front end. Young as well is also going to be in. Jeremy Chaney's going to be into the mix, I think. I think this could be a Porsche-led circuit. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Porsche 1, 2, 3 at the end of this one. No offense to anybody else, but I don't know. Maybe the Acura of Van Rooij might have something to say once again. That chicane is horrible through the close chicane, and then they go over into Villeneuve, drop down the hill the other side as well, and then they're going to have a very nice tight chicane that's going to greet them at the end of this through Villeneuve. And they've got to make sure they get through here. There's some couple of tough corners that these guys are going to have to contend with, Tom, and I think this could be one of their races. It's going to either be an absolute banger or it's going to be an absolute chaos fest.
Yeah, I just wondered through the Villeneuve chicane, especially that slower chicane around the lap, they're going to be all bunched up through there, and I think there's bound to be 2 or 3 that perhaps just not get carried away, but perhaps a little bit too exuberant through there, trying to gain places and then end up on the wrong end of it, and multiple cars getting involved. But we'll see how they play out as we ride on by with Brian Faluna, going past the safety car, albeit briefly, but thankfully the safety car is ghosted. Coming out of the penultimate chicane of the lap before we get to Jackie X, and it won't be too long before we get the all-important rolling start.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Van Rooij Pro, Claudio Pro Am, and Ollinger in Am. Okay. Well, it's going to be an interesting one. Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people of all ages, grab your drinks, get your popcorn set, ready to go, because we are going to be over the line. You can see, I think Faluna's already bolted at the beginning, he has, and we are now officially green for 55 minutes of racing. Faluna leads the way going down into turn 1, then Ryan Merriam in behind that, David Van Rooij, Timmy Probert, Bradley Lovins all there. You can see them guys in the background fight now. It's all getting a little bit scrappy, but Lovins is going to lead the way in 5th place. He's trying to get Tim Probert at the moment. David Van Rooij is making his way into 3rd as well. Probert's gone round, bumped the barrier. Tim Probert in the barrier, comes back into the middle of the circuit. Oh, he's going to just get hit. Pinball Wizards in that corner. Tim Probert all the way down to the back end there. That wasn't an ideal start for him. Was there contact with Bradley Lovins? That's going to be the question. Was there contact, or was it all on his own?
It was all on his own. He was focusing too much on the car in front of him, and yeah, he put it in the wall, and it was a dangerous rejoin back onto the circuit after he bounded off the barrier.
Hold on. No, it don't look like he touched him. And then unfortunately, I don't think he had a choice about coming back into the middle of the circuit. He's full on the brakes. Bont hits him as well. And a few others go and tap him there as well. But I don't think he had much choice about coming back on. Poor old Tim Probert is all the way down the end. I think he's just been involved in something else as well.
He's got He's got a heavy amount of damage as Tim Probert.
Yeah, I think that's Will Bailey behind. Oh, Probert can't get it stopped. Can't get it stopped. Watch this. Got a funny bit. Oh, Will Bailey's had his own damage. Wow.
Yeah. I wonder if that's from the contact with Probert.
Yeah, Tim Probert's got a meatball flag there. Will Bailey back in pit lane. Sean Riley up 3 places in that BMW. He's gaining places at the moment. Doing a good job there. Yeah, that was a bit of a chaotic start for some. But David Van Roy in 3rd place at the moment with Bradley Lovins behind him and Hayden Young behind that as well. Not a great start for some.
No, and this goes back to what I was saying. One of the pro drivers could end up in the walls on that first lap, fall to the back of the field, and we could end up with some on-track action. It looks like Tidwell's gone down the order as well. In 15th position, he's lost a ton of place, and in fact, he's losing more. I think he's been on the wrong end of a collision with someone, JP.
Bradley Tidwell there. Oh, I've got a funny feeling this is all on his own, or it is all on his own. But a sausage curb he went.
Didn't apply the brakes. He didn't apply the brakes when he needed to, because he saw the car rolling back as cars were going past him, and he collected. Couldn't see. I think it was Bryce. Was it Tom Bryce that he collected? Because he's also dropped down the order as a consequence.
Yeah, I think so. It was Bryce. So the couple of people, Tidwell, Bryce and Bailey in pit lane. Bryce with a meatball there as well. Brian Faluna out in front, 128.358, 128.458 from Merriam, 129.215 from Ben Roy. It's all got a little bit scrappy at the front, and the only upside is we've still got 51 minutes left.
There's a long way to go in this one, and although Tidwell's got back into pit lane, as is Bryce, and Probert's been in the pits for repairs, it's likely he's going to need to make another stop before this race is over, because he's not going to have the fuel to make it to the end, is he? No,
definitely not. It seems to be sometimes ending up in a 2-stop race here. Heath Hollinger still leading that AMS currently. He's got Hoskins 3 seconds behind him, JT behind that. JT's got his own little situation of Basil, Price, Gardner and Zifflo all tucked in behind him. Zifflo being the last car here in this queue. You can see through Klein they go. Now it's a run down over Butte, down into Vilna, through the left-hander, under the bridge. JT's up the front. Then it's Basil, Price and Gardner through another difficult chicane as well, through the right, left, and then you got to bring it right. And Zifflo gets it done there as well. So lots of action taking shape all the way through this field. Dustin Dosface leading the Pro-Ams, but he's got Jeremy Cheney of the Pros in behind him as well. So some have got away with that. You can see the likes of Riley up 4, Brian Hoskins up 8, Brett Basil up 8, Julian Reese up 6, Nick Marshall up 6. Few gainers, but a lot of people have lost out.
Yeah, well, Ryan Merriam's posting a new fast lap of the race. It was marginally quicker than what Brian Faluna did on that last lap. David Van Roy is, well, he's not quite going as quick as those are. He's already more than 3 seconds off the lead, is Van Roy. So I don't know whether he's just looking after his tyres at this early stage before he will need to come in. Bradley Tidwell's come back out on circuit now, albeit he is a lap down on the rest of the field. But let's keep an eye on Merriam's lap times here and just see if he is closing on Faluna, because it feels like he's got that. He's found his rhythm so far in this one, and it could well be we've got a fight for the win on our hands with Merriam, who had gone into this round a long way back actually, because he missed one of the races. He missed round 2 of the season, and he can use that as his drop score, or one of his 2 drop scores. So this is vitally important if he can get a win out of it, and another one of that, because he's already won 2 in races 3 and 4, and that'll help him in the long run by the time the season's done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the thing. You've got to make sure that you've got to get points on the board here, and the likes of some of these guys that down the bottom, Tidwell as well. They need to maximise their drops as we go on to lap 4. Who's got this one? Merriam faster last time out. Again, over the line they go. It's Merriam again. Only 300ths, but something again is better than nothing here, Tom. And Merriam is closing in ever so slightly, but they are starting to come into back markers. That's Marcinek up the road as well. He got a penalty in the last play, in the last race. He does now move over out of the way very, very happily for these guys to get through. But Faluna could be under pressure very, very shortly. Jeremy Cheney still battling away with Dustin Dustface. Can't make it through. What's Cheney got to do? Is he going to try and muscle his way through on Dustface, or is he going to try and make sure he can get it done cleanly as they pass the Acura there of Marcinek?
Well, he doesn't want to risk too much because you don't want to get penalty points for causing avoidable contact. So there's no point making last-minute lunges on the car ahead of you. Cheney will be all too aware of that. Van Roy's got to slow down as well, so he'll not be going at the pace that he'll want to be doing. That's probably over at one of the chicanes where it's got a little bit over track limit, says Van Roy. Yeah, so there he is in 3rd position. And there's no doubt that the Porsches are the cars that you want to be in around this racetrack, because Faluna and Merriam have left Van Roy and co for dead.
Yeah, Van Roy's going to hit the brakes very, very shortly. If he does not get rid of this slowdown, which he managed to do there. David Van Roy, the race have just commentated on. Basically, there was a few people that got penalties after their slowdowns for not taking them off properly. Jeremy Cheney and Dustin Dustface, but they were iRacing penalties, mind you. They weren't RC penalties, they were iRacing penalties. As Dykowski and Hansen have just swapped places with Heath Ollinger tucked in behind. Ollinger got a 4.3 second lead over Hoskins at the moment. Julian Rees with another slowdown there on the left-hand side. I think there's going to be Villeneuve, Klein. I think there's going to be a little bit more people with slowdowns.
There's going to be a lot of slowdowns in this race, James, because it's going to be pushing ever so hard through each of the chicanes around this circuit. And that could maybe cause a few problems. You know, if you're at the head of the queue and you're in a 3 or 4 car battle, you have a slowdown, that could cause all sorts of issues for the cars behind you if you decide to back off from the cars ahead of you. And we're looking at Lovins in 4th position on the tail of David Van Roy out of the Villeneuve chicane and up the hill towards the right-hander of the Boulderberg box. And yeah, and he's going to keep in touch with him. So this is a genuine battle for 3rd place, the final step on the podium, whereas Faluna and Merriam are in their own battle for the race win. Merriam's going quicker than Faluna on this lap. So we're looking at the latest lap times that we've seen. Faluna was able to respond to what Merriam did, although Merriam did have a track limits warning on that last lap, hence why his lap time wasn't valid. But it's definitely valid this time, and it's now a 127.5 to Faluna's 127.7.
Yeah, fast lap 27.5 there. You can see at the bottom 1/10 quicker from Merriam. He's bringing him in slowly here as well. Jeremy Cheney sitting in 7th place. David Van Roy, I think BWE, I think your Van Roy prediction might go out the window. I don't think the Acura is the car to have around this circuit at the moment. But some of these guys are doing a great job. You see Pro-Ams and AMs on the left-hand side. Ollinger leading the way. Dustface in leading the way in Pro-Ams, and Faluna leading the way in the AMs. But as I said, Tom, I don't think there's going to be, I think there's going to be a lot more people, should we say, with slowdowns than what we've had already, due to the nature of the Clan chicane and due to the nature of Villeneuve. Yeah,
well, at least there's still a chance for those at the back end of the field, like Bryce and Probert, who are in the pro class, to come back through the field. So I reckon we'll get some on-track action before this race is over, albeit not as much as we'd like to have seen from other circuits involving these machines. Quinton Price running in 16th position overall. He's running in the Pro-Am class. He's running 5th in that respective category.
Oh.
So he's doing a relatively nice job so far, but he's a long way off. Here is his nearest rival, who would be Adam Hansen, who's in the BMW. Quinton Price is running in a Lamborghini. And the other Lamborghini in the race is Bradley Lovins and Brad Tidwell. Those are the other two in this field, and Seatflove as well. So there's 4 Lamborghinis in the race. I think so far, if there's anyone that's got a good handle of the Lamborghini on this racetrack, it has to be Bradley Lovins.
Yeah, you can see Cody Bond got to slow down. Dudkowski and Hansen were having a nice little ding-dong. They swapped to places a couple of times there, but it is Dudkowski in that vet that's come out on top of this. Lovins still closing up behind Venroy as they're now heading down into Villeneuve here. Venroy managing to stay in front. Question will be for David Venroy is how long is he going to be able to stay in front for?
It depends if Lovins can stay in touch with him, because he's clearly got a good handle on the Lamborghini, but even like I said before, the Lamborghini's not the best car. So you just see Venroy run a little bit too deep into the right-hander before the quick chicane that followed, and now he's going to be really under pressure. I think he may as well forget trying to pursue Faluna and Merriam and just focus on keeping Lovins and co back.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. He's just the realization of it is that he can't be driving in his mirrors. Jeremy Chaney still stuck behind Dos Face, just cannot get through. Then Sierra with Claudio and Riley as well. No movements in that one. Then further back, Sean Riley's up 4 places. He's challenging to try and get onto the back of Claudio. There's a couple of movers and shakers that are trying to make moves here. 42 minutes left on the clock. And is the frustration of Jeremy Chaney going to be settling in soon, no, Tom? Because he's been staring at the back of Dos Face's Ferrari for a long time.
Well, he's got to get a move on, really, if he is to fight out with all those in the pros. He is running 6th in the class, but he's just not able to find a way through, and Dos Face is doing all he needs to do. He has that buffer over his nearest rival in the Pro-Am category, Alex Claudio, but you know, he's got to try and get through at some point, this Cheney, ideally before the pit stops, because when you're stuck behind this car, when you're stuck behind another car, you're obviously in that turbulent air, which obviously has an effect on how the car drives through the corners with the amount of downforce needed in these machines. But, you know, he's probably going to have to wait for a pit stop to arrive and try and perform an undercut. It may be that he has to pit in sooner than Dos Face, which pays the price in crucial tyre life, for which you need to outdo another driver on the circuit.
Yeah, fully agree. That battle is coming in and out here. It's dropping down to below half a second. It's dropping back out again to over half a second. Then Michael Vesta is also having a nice little bit of a ding-dong with Julian Rees here. It's the Ford versus the BMW battle of the machines. See on the left-hand side the manufacturers. You can see Vesta now going to have a go at Rees. Is he currently into Jackie Itbach? No, not this time. Oh,
he's run into him.
Yeah, carries too much speed and nips him up the butt.
Yeah. Well, he won't want to be doing that too many times. Not just in terms of picking up a penalty, but also looking after his own car, because that making contact like that can have an effect on the handling there, and I think that's demonstrated at turn 1. Yeah, they've both got damage off that contact, I think.
Yeah, nasty looking bonk there. Let's have a look, see if we've got straight steering going through this right hander. There is a short shot run up straight. Okay, but not too bad. What about Julian Rees?
I'm just conscious of whether Julian Rees has got damage to the rear as he went through turn 1.
He's slightly right hand down for Julian Rees there. I think he got a little bit of a bump behind, but you can see this battle with Ryan Merriam, Faluna starting to get hotter as they start closing in. Faluna can't be driving in his mirrors though, Tom. He's got to look forward. He's got to make sure that he can claim this victory again here. But he's doing a fine job currently holding on to that position.
Doing a fine job so far is Faluna, but I think it's just a matter of time, because Merriam is clearly the more confident of the two. There is some gravel on the exit of turn 1 after Rees had gone off the circuit. So that may cause a few issues later on, but hopefully it gets cleared up maybe by some of the other cars as the race progresses. But we are now on lap 11. We're around about 15 minutes away, or maybe just, yeah, around about 15 minutes away from seeing mandatory pit stops from these. They are fueled to about 60%, which means that they're probably going to go around about the first half an hour before they do pit in for fuel and tyres. And we'll see them progress to the end from there, but no way through just yet for Merriam. I think he's going to be waiting for a pit stop. As long as he stays within that window of like half a second, if he pits in before Faluna, that could be what makes the difference.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you. I do agree. I think Merriam's either got to make a choice here. Go in early or don't go in early. And we're going to find out which way Merriam's going to go on that one. JXCX streams laggy. Seems everything's okay on my side. I'm getting no dramas at all. But at the moment, Ryan Merriam is. Nick Marshall's got to slow down. Where are you, Nick, on the racetrack? You are... Oh, well, I can tell you where you've got that. You got that coming out of Klein. There's... Get that slow down off the young man and get running once again. Jeremy Cheney still in behind Dosface. I don't know what he's going to be doing here or how is he going to do this one. I don't even know if Cheney's making the effort to try and get past him, Tom. I've not seen one aggressive move from him.
Well, the problem is when you're trying to pass cars, you're not going to be setting fast lap times by passing cars because you're having to go offline to get past them. That's what Cheney will be thinking at this moment in time. If he passes him, as you just see further ahead, that is Young going wide, and that allows Dustface to head through, but Cheney's going to be further frustrated by that, yeah. So Cheney had to back off there to avoid running into Young, who had gone off the circuit at the first of the chicanes around this, like Hayden Young, that is. And yeah, that will frustrate Cheney even more. That was not convenient for him.
Yeah. Now Dustface has passed Young. This is how this all happened. Hayden Young must have had his own little drama. Oh, he did have a drama as well. Nose cone up in the air off the sausage curb. That's allowed Dustface through. And now Hayden Young's going to have a battle, and Jeremy Cheney in behind him. Hay Young and Cheney both pros there. So they're going to be mixing it up as well. Ollinger leading the AMs up into 13th place for Heath Ollinger. Up 4 places. Stunning run from him. Hoskins, unfortunately, just looks like he has just... he's just lost places, and this is why.
It's over at the Villeneuve chicane. How's he managed to lose this then?
Like that.
Yeah, apply the throttle too much. Devin Roy, JP, has responded by posting the fastest up of the race so far. He's pulled clear of Lovins now in their respective battle. So I would say Van Roy should feel a little more optimistic to go after Faluna and Merriam. He has got 6 seconds to make up, so he needs to try and make up at least half a second in the next half a dozen laps to be in play of fighting out for the win during the pit window.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on David Van Roy and see what he gets himself up to, just as much as we're keeping the eye on the Young battle, which is becoming very, very close together. But Ryan Merriam still in behind Brian Faluna. They're still going through now into Jackie Ickbok here. Out the other side, no dramas for him. Through he goes, chasing there. There's a back marker in front. I think that's the Acura Nick Marshall. If I'm not no, it's not Nick Marshall. Could that be Scotty Carlson? It could be Mr. Carlson. I think in front of these guys currently. Let's have a look. Oh, it's Marcinek. Unfortunately, he's 3 laps down. Oh, 1 lap down, gets out of the way by going onto the grass. So fair play for that one. But Ryan Merriam has just got to keep going, Tom. Keep going and keep going.
Yep. And Van Roy's taken another 3/10 out of Merriam and Faluna on that last lap. So you can tell that he is pushing hard now, and he's leaving Lovins to fight amongst the likes of Dustface and that. So we've not got too long before the pit window arrives. And at the moment, Faluna leads the way, but only by half a second on Merriam. Merriam, who's already won a couple of times this season. He has missed one of the races as well, race 2 it was. And he's looking to make up for it. But they are, just to remind you, there are a couple of dropped scores to be applied. There are 12 rounds. The best 10 for each driver gets counted towards the championship for all of Pro-Am and Am. So whilst we've been focusing on Faluna and Merriam for the lead, to update you that Dustface is leading the way quite comfortably over Alex Claudio. Claudio is like 5 positions back overall from Dustface. In the AMs, Ollinger, the leader, not just in this race, but in the championship battle as well, leading the way over his nearest rival. who is Jim Sawyer, running a couple of positions back. Now, both Ollinger and Sawyer are running in McLarens, which is interesting. We've been saying that the Porsches have been the cars to be in round this circuit, which I'd be inclined to agree, because 4 of those cars are in the top 7, because Hayden Young and Jeremy Cheney are running in 6th and 7th places respectively. There's a change in the order. I think Brett Bazil has gone down the order. He's had a moment somewhere, so hopefully we'll get an update as to what he's managed to do. We're over 20 minutes into this one, and we're on lap 16. This is a replay of Brad Tidwell further down the order here. Now, he already had his moment earlier on in the race. He's gone into pit road. Has he gone a little bit too quickly for his own good there? We'll see whether he has picked up some form of penalty. No, it doesn't look like he's caused too many issues there. So I don't know why we received that replay. But I did see that Brazil had gone down the order, James, and I wonder if he made a mistake somewhere. Jeremy Cheney's got to slow down.
Yeah, Cheney's got to slow down. He's going to have to try and come back as well. Brett Basil has done this in the Porsche, unfortunately for him. And that is in a bit weird place as the Porsche decides to go round, going through Ringbot there. Steady, can't just come back. Oh, you have just come back. Oh,
no, that's a dangerous rejoin.
Oh, blimey. Brett Basil there causing himself dramas. Brian Fluna, Ryan Merriam still battling away out front. Dustin Dosface still leading the way in the Pro-Ams. Hayden Young is still closing him down. Jeremy Cheney, as we know, just had a slowdown. Heath Ollinger leading the way in the AMs by quite a country mile, to be blatantly honest. All of about 9 seconds, actually. So it is the front 2 of the pros that's really bringing the action at this moment in time here as well. So I still think that this is going to be an interesting one now, because especially coming in the next few minutes, pit stops will start coming through. We're going to start see people diving in, and then it will be a decision time for some of them on what they're going to do.
I think if I was Ryan Merriam, I would consider pitting him within the next couple of laps. Do what Faluna doesn't do. Is the old, well, I say it's the old way of going about it. It's an old cliche, but do what the other driver doesn't do. It's perhaps maybe the better term to, or the better phrase to use. There is another battle further on in the Pro-Ams between Brian Dikowski and Adam Hansen for 3rd position. That battle is just as close as what is the battle for the lead outright. There is Hansen in that white liveried car behind. In the BMW, Brian Dikowski is in the Corvette just in front. So this is a rather interesting battle to watch. In there, and just ahead of him, I think that is a back marker who is out of position compared to where these two are at. But no change just as yet between Dikowski and Hansen. 4 tenths is still a margin between Faluna and Merriam in the battle for the lead in the pros. Probert, who's been in the wars in this race already, is coming back through the field nicely, actually. He's on the tail of Nick Marshall, who is one of those in the AMs, so I don't expect that to be that much of a contest, in all honesty. Not that I'm being disrespectful to Nick Marshall by any means, but Probert is in the pro class, and Marshall allows Probert to go through, and the next driver of which Probert will be going after will be Brian Hoskins in the sister McLaren to the McLaren that Tim Probert is in.
Yeah, absolutely. Battle up front. It's got down to about 3 tenths. Well, it's got down to that close currently at the moment. You can see it on your screen. And Ryan Merriam is closing in. Is he going to be able to make it through? Is he going to be able to challenge Brian Faluna before the pit stops? Is he going to go one more? You are right with the philosophy of do whatever the driver in front doesn't. So if you're looking to pit and he doesn't go in and you go in, or if he goes in, you stay out. And I think Ryan Merriam's got a bit more pace in that Porsche than Brian Faluna at the moment. And he's showing currently with the fastest laps. You can see Faluna out of the last 5 has only owned 2. Ryan Merriam has got the other 3. And I think that for Ryan Merriam's point of view, he has to look at staying out. He cannot go in with Faluna, because otherwise it's just going to be follow my leader for the next 29 minutes.
There's a car off on the exit of the Klein chicane. Who's that that's gone? Is that Nick
Marshall?
It can't be. It's Nick Marshall, isn't it? Yeah. He's had a race to forget. He's got to slow down to add insult to injury. But these two are just riding the curves. That's how hard they are pushing. You just tell by the car just riding them. Oh, the big shunt into the barrier there. Who's that that's just gone? That's Bonsi, isn't it?
Yeah, Cody Bomb. Another Porsche. By the look at that front end, he's already had some dramas. But now he's going to have some more. Oh, that can't be normal.
No,
that can't be normal.
That's not a normal way of going. I don't know if he's had problems with his sim or something, or whether he's had connection issues.
Something must have gone on there with Cody Bond. It goes into the wall. Brian Faluna, Ryan Merriam, 28 minutes to go here. Still the same as they are. Still where they need to be. We got Julian Rees in pit lane, Nick Marshall in pit lane. We saw obviously Marshall off the side of the circuit. And this seems to be how he got... Oh no, he's already lost a lot of that back end already. I think this is picking up that when they go in pit lane, it turns around and says that they've had a crash. Now, was this Marshall and Bond together? Oh, yes. So
there was contact.
Yeah, so there's the damage on the front end of Bond, and there's how Marshall ended up on the side of the circuit. So that's basically where that one's coming from. And now we've uncovered that. I feel like a super sleuth here and figured out the mystery. But Brian Faluna, Ryan Merriam, still as they are with 27 minutes to go.
Well, Bond went through the field of chicane fine, so I find it really bizarre for him to have an off the way he had done at Turlen Men. So that is that'll be something for him to maybe explain after, because you don't see cars go off there all the time.
Yeah, no, you definitely don't. It's not. The problem is what happened before that. If they're going over the sausage curb like that, and we've seen quite a few cars lift their front end up of the car at the moment. What are you doing? Oh, Cheney on Hansen, or Hansen on Cheney, depending on which way you want to look at it. But they were literally side by side, neck and neck a minute ago. These guys got 26 minutes to go.
Cheney's dropped back, James, since we last saw of him, because he was behind Just Facing Young earlier.
Yeah,
I don't know whether he's had some form of incident somewhere, or he's been off the track.
He went off here the first time and then came back on, and then not long after has gone back off again. So he goes off there. That's the first one. And then he comes back on. And then a little bit later, I think he must have gone off again here, the system's telling me. But yeah, that's how initially he lost all of that time, because he was on and off the circuit. But now, for Jeremy Cheney, he's going to have a situation where he's going to try and get hold of Claudio. Claudio's going to get Sierra. But all the while this is happening, Will Bailey is in the middle having his own battle with Julian Rees here. And this is the battle of the people that are a lap down. So there's lots going on. There's lots intertwining, because there's Cheney and Hansen now. But here's Bailey and Rees who are having their own battle. So is it expected that Bailey and Rees, through he goes. Rees made a mistake, and now Bailey goes through. But this is where the problem lies now, because Cheney's in the background battling Hansen, and these guys are a lap down, fighting each other.
Well, Bailey's already been in the pits earlier, but it was right at the very beginning when he had damage. So we expect Bailey to be in the pits again before this race is over, whereas Rees has done his scheduled stop, and he can go to the end. He is having to move out the way of leaders that are coming through. I think that's Jeremy Cheney, who's just gone past Cheney and Hansen, wasn't it? It's just got, he's gone through. Riley's in the pits in the BMW, so he is aiming for an undercut. Sierra is also in for his only stop of the race, Javier Sierra. So it's going to come down to what will the leaders do? Who's going to pit him first?
Well, I'm not sure. Dudkowski's in pit lane at the same time. The Riley, Sierra, Dudkowski all in pit lane. Ryan Merriam, Brian Faluna. They can't have much fuel left to go, to be honest with you. I think they can get to about 20 minutes remaining. And that's the last time, the last little bit of knock-ins that they're going to have here. But I do wonder whether or not Faluna's just running this out. Is he just running it down empty? That's not allowing Ryan Merriam to close in behind him, though, Tom. And that's the reason he's still there, that both of these drivers are just running these cars out flat.
And it's also track position for when they do pit in. And you're looking at cars that are coming out of the pit lane now, they could come up to the back of them. So if you're the man in second place and you've got the leader who's about to come up to lap back markers, that could be what prompts the second place driver to come into the pits to perform that undercut.
Yeah, Ben Roy cutting into that lead. He is slowly, but it's still 5 seconds though. BWE, it's gone out from about 4, now 5.2. So unfortunately, it looks like Ben Roy might be going a bit of the wrong way here. That's Dudkowski in front of us as well. But I think for Ben Roy, he needs these two to battle. And they haven't battled for the first 32 minutes of this race. That's the problem. They just been playing follow my leader. Ryan Merriam's just in there. Neither of them have swapped places. They haven't gone anywhere. They haven't changed anything. And they are, I am wondering by them not fighting. And that's the reason why Ben Roy can't get close, because they've not been scrapping. Ryan Merriam has literally been following Brian Faluna
all this time. Hayden Young's picked up a slowdown further back, so that might make it easier for... Oh no, Claudio's too far back, isn't he?
Yeah,
but either way...
Through.
Yeah, well, Dustface is through into 5th place. He's had a strong race as Dustface by his standards, so he's done a terrific job. But, you know, we've seen the back fin. Why has... well, unless Merriam can get a quicker pit stop done.
I don't see why you would do that.
Venroy's carried on. Venroy carried on, so at least he's staying out there to try and perform some form of overcut. He's hoping that these two come out in traffic.
Gonna keep an eye on these.
Right at the end of the pit lane as well.
Yeah, well, that's the joys of first and second in quali, unfortunately. That is the joys of first and second in quali. I don't normally focus on people on the pits this much, but I do want to see what happens with these guys when they come out.
He's
Merriam's
got him.
gone.
Merriam's got him.
Merriam's gone. Faluna's there now, chasing him. Now going to be the other way. Ryan Merriam, fuel saving all the way round.
Well, it was definitely worth keeping an eye on these two, because we don't often see jumps in pit stops like that when they come in at the same time. But Merriam has finally got through on Faluna.
Yeah, and it took him the pit stop to do it. That's the thing. He couldn't get it done, or didn't want to get it done. Hayden Young with another slowdown. That poor young man is going to yellow flag permanently next to his name here. That's what I said during that first half, that Ryan Merriam did not look like he was trying to even pass Brian Faluna, and he didn't make it there either. He just saved fuel in behind him, so when he got him down in the pit lane, that was it. Jobs are good, and it was all done. Now, one of the questions we have to look at asking ourselves is, where is David Van Roy? Still in pit lane. He's been in pit lane for about 10 seconds. Bradley Lovins has gone in as well. Hayden Young is past Dustface because Dustface has went in. Claudio, what are you going to get yourself up to? Jerry Cheney as well. But it is this battle here with Ryan Merriam and Brian Faluna. Merriam leading the way. He is effectively the lead car on the racetrack at this moment in time. Ben Roy's only just being filled up. They're going to pass Ben Roy by quite a lot here, I think.
Well, Van Roy was running about 5 seconds off these two when they pitted in, so it's going to be round about the same by the time he rejoins the circuit at turns 2.
4.8. Yeah, I'm going to give that a minute to settle down, but it does look like Van Roy's not really gained anything, not really lost anything. Just kind of stagnated himself with 20 minutes to go. He had to try something, David Van Roy, and he tried going a little bit longer, but it hasn't worked out, hasn't brought him any closer. But still a great job overall, even though he could potentially look like he's finishing 3rd place. Oh, not like
it's gone right over the not like that. Yeah, you do not want to be riding the curbs. I think that's the problem with the Klein chicane, with that high curb in the second part of it when you go through the apex like that. Yeah, that was a little too much there for Van Roy, but luckily he kept it on the circuit. But now, if Faluna's going to win this race, he's going to have to really catch Ryan Merriam by surprise, isn't he?
He's either going to watch Ryan Merriam, or he's going to wait to see what goes on with that back marker. Because when you're in that chasing car, you know if that leader goes through, you have to go through regardless. It doesn't matter where you're going to go, what you're going to do here. If Ryan Merriam passes that car, it could be...
car off. Sorry, James, but in the background, one of the... who was it? It's Hayden Young. Is it Hoskins? Sorry, yeah, my apologies.
Yeah, Hoskins is gone and Young's got into pit lane. But this is where now it's vitally important for Brian Faluna to follow Ryan Merriam through. The problem is how accommodating is Basil going to be to allow them to go through. It's a free Porsche car train and it ain't for the lead. Ryan Merriam in the lead. Then it's in behind that is Brian Faluna. This is where we expect these guys to move over now as well. As Basil allowed both through, I think he has. He's allowed both of the cars to go through. No dramas there as well. Lewis, welcome in. Thank you so much. Now it's coming out the other side as well. Past Marcinek they go. He goes up over the hill, allows him to go through. And to be fair, Tom, that was a pretty clean marker overtake from both of these guys.
Yeah, that's the kind of back marker that should be getting out of the way of these two anyway. So well done to whoever it was that was getting out of the way of them. I think that was Brett Brazil, wasn't it? That was,
Marcinek at the bottom. He was also,
Marcinek,
yeah, he moved out of the way as well. But I can guarantee that not every back marker overtake, Tom, is going to be like that, as we've seen multiple times.
No, because they're focusing on their own battle, which if you've got 2 or 3 cars directly ahead of you that you want to be swabbling, you do not want to lift off and allow these through. But there comes a point where you have to be reluctant.
The way I look at it is when I'm a back marker, and it does happen quite a lot, if I am racing, I sit back and think, I'm 5 seconds away from the guy in front. I'm 5 seconds ahead of the geezer behind me. So them 2-3 tenths that I'm going to lose just by lifting to let them through ain't really going to hurt me. So I generally just lift and let them go. Scotty Carson's got to slow down that because I find that easier. But then, as I said, I've been brought up with F1, and that's a lot of the time of get yourself out of the way as quickly as possible.
Well, there goes another of the back markers. No problem there. Through the Klein chicane. Oh, that car that just allowed them through did exactly what Devin Van Rooij did. Was it Michael Vester? It was Michael Vester who basically launched over that curb, but thankfully survived that one. Oh, look at, you can just see Faluna now. He's all over the rear. And that's not even thanks to the back markers. That's literally, they went through at the same time, and I think he's managed to stay in touch in the slipstream. Now he's just dropped back from a little bit. But you can just see a lot later on the brakes, I think, compared to the sister Porsche. And we've not got too long left, although these are quick laps actually around this track, and they've done a lot of them already here.
Yeah, 26 laps deep already. Through the right hand now, Faluna trying to close in on Merriam. Merriam's got a back marker in front. I think there's Ziflo up the road. I don't think they're going to hit that yet. I think it's going to be maybe just by the end of this lap. They might get hold of the guys up front who are battling away. Ziflo there in his own fight with Mr. Gardner. And he's only half a second behind, so he's not going to want to lift if he can help it here. But now we're on that run. Brian Faluna going into the right-hander of turn number 3. Coming into Klein. It's going to be, this is where the slowdowns happen. This is where it all kicks off here, Tom. Can they make it through here, or are both people? It's a tricky chicane. I don't like it, because you've only got to be a millimetre off one way, and then you have got to slow down. They both make it through. Now coming into Villeneuve. Down the hill they go. Brian Faluna tucked in behind Merriam. Into Villeneuve. Through the right-hander. Merriam goes right. Then he goes left. Then he goes right again. And at the moment, Tom, I cannot see where Brian Faluna gets through. Zolder looks great. Difference of opinion there, Lewis, I think, on certain ones.
But you could just see a lot later on the brakes at that same corner where he was able to brake later than Merriam last time around. They got by that back marker. I thought it was going to get in the way of Ryan Merriam when they came out of the right-hander after the Villeneuve chicane, the Tullerman bend.
Oh, I got it wrong.
And he got it wrong, yeah. Faluna got it horribly wrong through the jacket chicane, and that's the buffer that Merriam needs for now.
Now Merriam really wants to put that car behind that Ziflo car. He wants to put him in the way. He needs to put him in the way. You've been given an opportunity here, Ryan Merriam. You've got to take it, son. If Luna made a mistake through the Jackie Ickbot, now into turn 2 they go. Long looping right-hander. Clear him as soon as possible. Ziflo, look in your mirrors. Get him out through turn 3. Do whatever you've got to do. You have been given an amazing opportunity. Ziflo moves over. Is he going to move over from Faluna as well? Or is he going to be in the way of Faluna? He's going to be in the way. I think they're going to meet on the apex. It's going to be a near enough. And Faluna's got to do the job that Ryan Merriam's got to do, because Ziflo ain't moving out the way very quickly.
No, well, he didn't need to that time around because Faluna was too far back. You can just see heavy on the brakes too. Villeneuve is Faluna. He's got to get out of the way now, Ziflo. He cannot hold Faluna up here through tournament. It feels like Faluna had to back off a little bit there. That was not the most convenient place to put a lap on Ziflo, but he's out of the way now anyway. We've got another 10 seconds, I think, or a little bit of time. Well, it's less than 10 seconds actually. You can just see the cars in the background, which they'll be having to navigate their way through. There's 13 minutes to go. There's still a lot of laps left here for these to complete. David Van Roy is 5 seconds off for Luna, and he's now over 15 seconds clear of Lovin. So I think Van Roy's place on the podium is more or less secure now. It's just, can he go after Merriam or Faluna in these remaining tours of Zolder?
Yeah, absolutely. I said looks great, not drives. Okay, Lewis, I apologise. It does look great, yes. Does it drive great? Well, that's a matter of opinion. It's like Marmite, mate. You either love it, you hate it. Depends on what side of the fence you're on. There's no real close battles kicking off at the moment. Hayden Young trying to recover back through. He's chasing Mr. Dudkowski. Prober is still, I believe, is still running. But he is, I believe, lapped down. Tim Prober. Who'd have thought Tim Prober lapped down at Zolder? Absolutely nuts. David Van Roy's just giving him himself a slowdown. That's why that gap's gone out to nearly 7.3 seconds. But Hayden Young bringing in Dudkowski. Young trying to make a great recovery.
I wonder where Van Roy's lost time. And also, Lovin's lost a lot of time on... Oh no, that's to the leader, isn't it? Sorry, I'm looking at the gap. I thought it was the intervals. I was looking on the time and tower. But yes, Van Roy has had that slowdown during the lap he is on. But this is the battle we're focusing on for now. This is between Dudkowski and Hayden Young, who's lost places during the pit stop phase. And now is going to be aiming to get back through on Dudkowski. I don't think we'll make it too difficult for him. Young goes through at turn 4, but Dudkowski's still there around the outside, but Dudkowski has to slot back in. Cheney, meanwhile, has got by Claudio, but it has been a rather challenging afternoon for Jeremy Cheney, considering he was behind Dos Face for so long, and he's fallen even further back since then. Yeah,
you see Dustin Dos Face sitting in 5th, leading the Pro-Ams. Stacey's in YouTube chat. Go, bud, he says. Welcome in, Stace. Thank you very much. Ryan leading the way at the moment by 1.3 seconds. There's a penalty for Brett Basil. And I'm wondering if that's a black flag for limits, or did you not get off your slowdown? You didn't get off your slowdown, that's what you're going to get. But I got a funny feeling it might be off tracks here again. Claudio just backing away from Jeremy Cheney now, losing time. Ryan Merriam still in front, 1.2 seconds in front of Faluna. Cam, do you think Faluna's got an answer in the next 10 minutes?
Probably not. But Merriam just got by that back marker ahead. I thought it was lost time there, and Faluna's catching up to that whoever it is that's just going through there. Nick Marshall, isn't it? Yeah. So that's him out of the way. There's a couple more cars at least. Quinton Price has got through on Ollinger, who was the leader in the AM class, has now been overtaken by Jack Sawyer. I think Ollinger has made an error on this lap.
Yes. Man,
it's over at Jackie X.
Yeah, watch the back end's going to come round. There you go.
I've seen a few drivers do that today. Hoskins did that earlier on.
Oh, and he hit the barrier.
That's going to cause damage to the car for sure.
Keith Ollinger, if you've ever just thrown a lead away, that would be about it. As Ollinger now nestles in, there's a slowdown for Claudio. As Ryan Merriam is on his bike, closing in now. And up there front is Mr. Tidwell, who is going to put a lap on, of course, once again. So still action-packed for 9 minutes here, Tom. And I don't know if Faluna's going to get there.
He's got time. I mean, it just takes one error from Ryan Merriam to totally throw it away. He's coming up to the back of his next back marker, who I believe is Jim Sawyer, the leader of the AM class, who won't want to back off too much. There goes Merriam. That's the pro leader passing the AM leader, and I think Falloon's going to get held up. Yeah, he's lost time.
Yeah,
he was held up by Sawyer at that corner.
Yeah, it's Bradley Tidwell.
It's Bradley Tidwell, sorry. My apologies for that.
Sawyer's in behind him. You can see Sawyer in that car behind him. But Tidwell, nothing a lot he can do. Ryan, don't make many mistakes. That's brutal, easy to do, says Lewis. Absolutely agreed. But Ryan Merriam, 8.5 minutes, near enough left. Out in front over Brian Fluna. What is the lap time situation we've had going on here between these guys? Merriam faster over 27, 28, 29 and 31. You can see Faluna getting the fastest lap, or faster lap, on lap 30. So Ryan Merriam managing to hold his own here once again. Michael Vesta is going to come up to having his own little battle with John Gardner very, very shortly.
For the final podium in the AMs between Gardner and Vesta. So this is a nice tussle to keep an eye out on. But Sawyer, well, he's now 7 seconds clear over Ollinger, looking good to wrap up the AM victory today. Does face comfortably on course for the Pro-Am win, and Falluna's now got a slowdown. I think that's because he's run over one of, he pushed a little bit too hard on this lap, so he has to back out of it at some point so that he doesn't get that penalty. Otherwise, that could be detrimental to his race.
Yeah, if he goes black, he ain't got it off. Let's just put it that way. As the Ford Mustang Hero Vesta looks up the inside of Gardner. No real fighting from Gardner. Gardner tries to cut back. They're going to run side by side. Going in through the final couple of corners here. Now into the Jackie Itbock. The Mustang on the right of Vesta. Gardner there. Gardner wants room. Vesta says no. Vesta takes that position away. Final podium spot for Michael Vesta in the AMs.
A very nice battle. One of the rare battles we've seen today. Side-by-side action. It looks like Brazil has now, and I think he's in the pit lane for good, because we saw a massive drop down in the timing tower, so it looks like he could well have had enough for today.
Yeah, maybe Rat Battle's clear, called it a day. He's out. Jeremy Cheney sitting in 8th has got to slow down currently as well. So for Jeremy Cheney, he's going to have to try and cope with that slowdown, get it off before it turns into a penalty. But Ryan Merriam extends his gap 2.2 seconds, and that's due to Fluna's slowdown. Unfortunately for him, Scotty Carson has caught himself into some incidents as well. Stay focused, Ryan. Go, go, go. I hope Ollinger takes the positive of leading away rather than the incident. Lauder said we learn more from losses than wins. You are right. You are completely right. Zifflo now got a slowdown currently. But Ollinger, not a million miles away from JT, but it really does depend if JT makes any errors.
Well, there's not long left in this race, less than 6 minutes to go. And Ryan Merriam surely has got this race in his pocket. I think he's backed off a little bit on this lap. He's posted a 1:28.8. Falluna's done a 1:28.1, so Falluna's able to respond after the slowdown he had not too long ago, and he closed in by 7/10. But is that because Merriam has just taken his foot off the gas a little bit, or is that because of back markers?
Where are you? Oh, could be the fact that there may have been. There's a back marker in behind us. There he is. The 22 machine of JT. These guys have lapped everybody up to 14th, mind you. So as you can see from the bottom half of the table, the lap count goes down from JT in 14th to Quinton Price there as well. Maybe short on fuel, says BWE. Is possible. It is possible. I know Stace ain't going to want that. Stace ain't going to even want to hear about the fact that we might be light on fuel, especially as well for Ryan Merriam, who was 1.3 seconds quicker than Brian Fluna in the pit stops in his box. 1.3 seconds. But it really does depend though, although I would get normally excited and worried about that. He did stay behind him, Tom, for the first 22 laps of the race and never once made an effort to overtake him.
Well, if that's the case, then he's played a very, very intelligent race and a very calculated one of that as Ryan Merriam. And if that's what wins him the race, then good on him. But if it comes back to bite him by gambling on taking less fuel in the stop, then it's usually very disastrous. But I suppose if he has to back off it in the last lap or two, he may have to let Faluna through for the win. He has got like another 9 seconds in hand, or another 7 seconds in hand over David Van Roy. So, but he had to try. He had to try something to get the win, James. That's my argument.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for Ryan Merriam, it's what he's followed. He followed Faluna all the way through for the first lot of races, for the first lot of the race. So I'm just gonna have a listen to see if he's backing off. No, but he has just got that chicane all wrong.
I know you don't necessarily like me mention it very much, but in terms of the number of laps left, I'm just looking on the clock as to how many laps we're going to have to go. I think we've got 2 more laps of this race, but it's going to be very tight for when the clock reaches 0, and between whether it's going to be 1 more lap or the checkerfire is going to come out in the last second. I think he'll be all right.
He's not backing off.
Ryan Merriam. No, he'll be all right. He'll be all right from here, I think.
He's not lifting and coasting. He's not backing off at all. He is there. Stacey. No, she's putting YouTube chat. Don't let it happen to Ryan Merriam if he's going to run out of fuel, but I cannot see him lifting and coasting. I can't hear him lifting and coasting either. I've got to give a shout out to this man. He has done an absolutely stunning job in the Pro-Ams, Dustin Dosface, taking what could be potentially the victory here. And then we've got JT and Heath Ollinger. JT looks like he's going to wrap the win up in the AMS as well. But yeah, as we know, anything can happen. But Ryan Merriam is going to come over the line. Oh, you are right. This is going to be very, very close. But whether or not, it should be 1 more anyway. But I don't think there's going to be another one after this. He is Rexy as fossil fuel to extend this team.
Luna has had another slowdown whilst we're talking about that, so I think Merriam will know that he'll have just 1 more lap to go and he can back off a little bit should he need to.
I expect that gap to go out. There you go, there's 3 tenths. He still ain't got that slowdown off, mind you. Keep trickling, son. That goes black, you're going to be in trouble. Slow it down. You only get 30 seconds. There you go. Slowdown's gone out to 2.8. I believe Ryan Merriam should be okay, and this will be the final lap of the race. For Ryan Merriam, he's just got to come over the line. He's just got to wrap this up. Clear Quinton Price if you can, because you don't want to get involved with any back markers over this one. And at the moment, as you can see here from Ryan Merriam, Tom, he's driven stunning race.
Yeah, he doesn't need to take any risks here now. Like I say, he can just afford to back off a little bit. I think this fuel gauge will be absolutely fine. Otherwise, he'd have been coasting more than he is doing. But either way, it's been a stunning performance again from Ryan Merriam, a very calculated one. That's won him yet another race.
Yeah, Ryan Merriam did a great job there. I can imagine you sitting home with no fingernails. Oh my God, this is nerve-wracking. Through the left-right field now. Balloon's still there in behind him. Quinton Price is now going to be in the way. I don't want to tell you you're in the way, but you are in the way now. Merriam goes through. Price gets himself out of the way. Brian Faluna in through Jock and Rimbach now. The final corner, really, of an actual corner through the left-right sweepers now coming into the final chicane of Jackie Ickbot. Ryan Merriam fuel saved over the first part of this race. He's now gone and taken the victory after a quick stop coming out 1.2 seconds faster than Brian Faluna. Ryan Merriam comes over the line. Winner. Well, Ryan Merriam takes the victory here as well. Brian Faluna grabs 2nd place. David Van Roy is going to get 3rd in that Acura. And then I think that JT is going to come over the line here in the AMS, takes the victory in the AMS. Well done, JT. And then Dustin Dosface is going to wrap it up for the Pro-Ams. Great racing from Ryan Merriam. He sat behind Fluna for the whole entire first stint. Tom, he saved enough fuel and he got a 1.2 seconds quicker pit stop than Brian Fluna as Dos Face wraps up the Pro-Ams.
Yep, a fine way to keep the form going. And those Dos Face has driven beautifully today, over 23 seconds clear over Alex Claudio, who is in second in the Pro-Ams, and Hansen completing the Pro-Am podium as well. JT Sawyer has crossed over the line a lap down on the outright runner, comfortably ahead of Ollinger, who'll be ruining that error at the Jackie chicane.
Hayden Young was nose to tail with Hansen. I think Hansen's managed just to get the run out and stays in front of him there as well, Hayden Young. But Doug Kowski is going to be one of the last ones over the line. Waiting for a few others. Great broadcast, thank you. No worries. As he goes over the line there, Doug Kowski. And then it's going to be Hoskins and Probert. Probert has not had a good race here this evening. Gardner's just managed to get a slowdown on the final lap after the checkered flag, so fair play to him as Probert goes over the line on that one. Some great action, some great racing, but ladies and gentlemen, your winner is Mr. Ryan Merriam in first place. 1.2 seconds saved him in the pit stop. Great job from him. Brian Fluna in second, then David Van Roy. Bradley Lovins in fourth. Dustin Dos Face wraps up the Pro-Ams. Then Sean Riley, Javier Sierra and Jeremy Cheney with Alexander Claudio. We have Adam Hansen and Hayden Young rounding out the top 11. Brian Dykowski 12th, then Quinton Price in 13th. JT Sawyer wraps up the AMs. Heath Bollinger, Ziflo, Vesta and Gardner in behind that one. Then we've got Julian Reese and Tom Bryce. Further on is Bradley Tidwell, Scotty Carson, Nick Marshall, Hoskins, Probert, Basil, Marcinek, who was out, Bont is out, and Basil, who was also out there as well. Great racing, Tom, from these guys, and probably a masterstroke from Ryan Merriam.
Wonderful. And for a man who knows the series very well from the back of his own hand and the car itself, the Porsche was clearly the car to be in today. And Ryan Merriam, well, through the strategy phase, made it count and getting by Brian Fluna as well. And also shout out to Desphase and to JT Sawyer on winning their respective classes today. As that will help them in the long run. Desphase with another win and a good haul of points actually by finishing in fifth place. I think it's 58 championship points he picked up, and where Quinton Price landed today a lap down, and that's a big increase in the points gap between him and with Tidwell not having a good today, and neither did Bont either in the Pro-Ams. You have to say it's been a good day for Dosface.
Yeah, absolutely is. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to welcome in the man who finished in second. I'm going to do this second to first. Mr. Brian Fluna led right up to the pit stops and then got jumped in the pit stops by 1.2 seconds. That was Ryan Merriam's stop time quicker, but it is Mr. Brian Fluna. Brian, welcome in. How are you?
Well, gentlemen, good morning from sunny Flat, Kansas. Yeah, Ryan has just been faster all weekend long. I've just struggled with getting the front of the car to rotate the entire weekend. From even in qualifying race pace, I could not get the front of the car to turn the way I wanted it. And then, yeah, I always err on the side of caution in the pit stop. I always add a little extra fuel after Portimao. So, yeah, I probably just need to dial it back and just go for broke and put no extra fuel and see what I can do.
Do you reckon he fuel saved in behind you though?
Oh, 100%. I could tell, like, as soon as we were getting into the clean chicane, he would back off a little bit. At least it looked like it. And then the next chicane, he was definitely backing off, because after the pit stop, I almost ran into the back of him because I was not expecting him to slow down that much. Yeah. He was off the gas, and I caught him, and then I saw his brake lights come on. That's why I jinked to the right. It was probably looked like a half pass attempt, but now Ryan just did a better job. So congrats to him. We'll try again next week.
Yeah, well done, though, for finishing second place. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Oh, as always, to my beautiful wife, Amber, sitting behind me. And you guys, I've never seen Thomas before, so welcome. Great to have you. Yeah, look forward to next week.
Take care, Brian, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Yep. See you later.
Right, I'm gonna shoot down into the AMs now as
Finish.
well, and we're gonna have a chat. Who's gonna finish talking his own conversation with Mr. JT. JT, welcome in, bud. Congratulations on the AM victory.
Thank you. It's it was a surprise one. Heath should be talking to you guys right now. He had the pace. He spun. I'm not sure what happened, and kind of gifted me a win here.
Yeah, he threw it away. He went off the circuit, unfortunately, JT. But listen, you got to be there, mate. You got to be in it to win it, and you definitely were.
That's right. Yeah, that was my plan about halfway through the race, was just to keep it on track. Some of these chicanes can be kind of tricky, and so I was just trying to play safe and not lose anything, and just kind of get to the end of the race, and it kind of fell into my lap.
Yeah, it definitely did, mate, and well done on that one. Good point at all, and it gives you a little bit of bump in the standings. It's going to be very close in the AMs with Gardner and yourself and Ollinger.
Yeah, we're all pretty equal on our time, so it should be a good fight to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone, buddy, you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just everybody that runs the league, Bradley, all the admins, they do a great job over here. Obviously, my wife for letting me do this, be a child for half a day. Everybody over at DWR, they're a great help, helping me. All the fast guys, they're awesome. You guys do a phenomenal job, so thank you for broadcasting this.
Well, take care, JT, and we look forward to catching up with you next week.
All right, see you.
Right, and then we're going to jump into the Pro-Ams. We're going to have a chat with a man who's taking a victory in the Pro-Ams here, Mr. Dustin Dosvez. Dustin, welcome in, buddy. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. How y'all doing? Was it fun for you? Because it wasn't super fun for us, I think.
Well, I had a great time, mate, as always. It doesn't matter what I'm watching. It was a good race, dude. Now, if I'm not mistaken, is that your first Pro-Am series win?
No, I got at the Bend.
Ah, okay, all the way back there. Mate, I've slept since then, so there we go. Listen, dude, stunning run from there as well. It's going to be interesting with you and Quinton Price in the championship.
Yeah, it's neck and neck. I luckily did good here. Get a little bit of a gap going. I don't know where we're going next week, but this is one of my better tracks, so I think it's all downhill from here, so I'll have to hang on.
Yeah, well, dude, listen, it's been an absolutely stunning one, and well done. And just to enlighten you as well on where we are going, as I try and hunt out the schedule at this moment in time.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
You're going to Catalunya without the chicane, so Barcelona.
Okay, no chicane. All right, we'll see how that goes.
All right, buddy. Well, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go, mate?
I think last time I was here, I shouted out my puppy for not pooping in the house.
Agreed.
I'm rescinding that shout out. We're still working on it. Maybe next time I'm here, she'll get another one.
All right, man. Well, I'm lucky for the puppy. You better clean up after yourself. Dustin, take care, buddy. Catch up with you soon.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
All right, and next up is... Why is Mr. Will Bailey in the booth? Will, what can I do for you?
Hey, how's it going, sir? Man, what a fun race. My first one where I could actually compete because my computer didn't crash and they crashed me in the first lap or two. So, but hey, I did it. Here I am.
You definitely did, mate, and well done for you. Where did you finish?
I want to say it was like 22nd.
Yeah, you're like 7th in Pro-Ams, is that right?
I believe so, sir. Yeah. I've had a really bad luck this season, so hopefully I can finish a little bit stronger than I started.
Well, we're going to Catalonia next week, mate. What do you think?
Oh, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna do my best. We'll see.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, look forward to seeing you next week. Well, better luck next time. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Oh man, you guys as always. It's glad to have you back. You guys kill it every time. My wife, she's awesome, and just OGRL in general, everyone that puts it on. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care then. We'll catch up with you soon, bud.
Yes, sir. See you next time.
Right, and the final interview is the man that spent most of the first 22 laps fuel saving behind the leader to only go and jump in by 1.2 seconds in the pit stop. Stunning run, stunning drive, stunning fuel strat. And we've got him in the booth as well. And I'm sure, according to Stacey, he's a stunning individual. But it is Mr. Ryan Merriam. Ryan, welcome in, bud.
Hey guys, how's it going?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm relieved. I was really nervous coming into this one. I'm not gonna lie. That first chicane, that curb, man.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled my car in practice before the race, and I was like, this is gonna I was just gonna be happy with a podium. Honestly, I would have been happy with that, but it just worked out.
Dude, the fuel strap worked out as well.
Yeah. Well, I realized pretty quick, like he got a good jump on me in the beginning, and because I was probably a little overcautious on the cold tires, and he got out over a second, and I was like, man, this is gonna be tough now. But I managed to reel him back in, and then once I did catch him, I realized pretty quick, like I'm not gonna be able to pass this guy normally. So my only hope to win this thing is to just lift and coast, and it worked out. I got lucky because I had my fuel, what I thought was anyway, was right on the money. No extra, and I managed to jump him. But then when I came out of the pits, it was showing me like negative 0.2 gallons, and I was a little concerned about that because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to save that much with the remaining time. But I think what saved me was we got going so slow that the game, we lost that last extra lap that my calculator thought we were going to have in the beginning. So it ticked positive, and I just went.
That's all you can do, buddy, as well. And a stunning run from you. Off to Catalonia next week, mate. We're going to look forward to seeing how you get on there. It's going to bring the championship very, very interesting indeed. But is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go, bud?
Yeah. Mom, of course. I'm sure she's pretty happy in the chat there. You guys as well. Glad to always enjoy the race. Glad for what you guys do. And yeah, that's about it today. I'm gonna go take a little nap, maybe. I'm tired.
Hey, that's my plan. Have a good one, fella. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Well, Tom, happy people who won the series. Brian Faluna knew it was coming, couldn't do anything about it, but overall, great race in the end.
The fact that Ryan mentioned he had 0.2 gallons left off just as he came out of the pits tells you everything you need to know. He had to take that risk and he had to try something, which is what I alluded to earlier.
Yeah, and he definitely did that as well. Right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining myself and Tom Cairns for this race. Join us next week as we head to Catalonia for round 7. But as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on a track sometime. Good night.